So I'm just going to say
Yeah.
thank you to everyone for joining us today. I just want to do a quick introduction. My name is Catherine Jones, and I am EQK's Investment Relations Manager. We also have our esteemed EQK president, Gus Van Dender, on the call with us, and he's going to be answering as many questions as we can throw at him. Plus, he's going to be sharing some other stuff as well. So I just want to let everyone know that each week we offer these webinars as a way for our current investors and our potential investors to stay up to date with us. So they'll learn about our direction and our strategies and overall information. We change them up every week. We try to have a specific focus every week. So if you enjoy this webinar and you'd like to see more, you're more than welcome to join us every week. If you like, we'll send you an email and you can get signed in. So today we are going to focus on future acquisitions. But before we get started with that, I want to take a quick minute to go over our basic offering. So for any of those potential investors that haven't had a chance to download the deck or to have a look at it, EQK is a holding company for knowledge-based companies where we are offering a promissory note with a range from 16 to 20% interest rate returns on 2 to 3 year notes. And we pay the interest on a monthly basis through direct deposit or wire. So that just gives you a little bit of information. I don't know, Gus, is there anything that you would like to add to that preliminary intro?
No, I mean, I'm also the janitor. I should add that. Um, but no,
True.
that I think that's good. That covers the basics yeah, the offer is really simple, right? It's a promissory note. It's a loan, basically. However, one thing that I want to add is it's convertible, right?
Perfect.
So oftentimes we get questions around the security of it. What's the collateral? Well, the collateral is the businesses that we're gonna buy, and that's why I'm sharing so much about the companies that we already own, the companies that we are going to buy, and also, full transparency around all of that and educating everybody what we're using the money for, because that is the collateral, right? We're using your funds to buy a company that we have vetted. It's not just some random company and we're keeping our fingers crossed that the company's going to make profit. No, we do due diligence on these entities, these companies for the last 2, 3, 4 years. And if we believe that we can continue, at least continue making that same profit, it's very easy for us to calculate that we're going to be able to pay these notes back. It's the same as getting a loan from the bank, right?
Correct.
And then of course the question is, well, why don't you guys go get a loan from the bank? Have you tried lately? um, we do have loans from the bank, SBA and so forth, and we have other means to raise capital. This is just another way to raise capital and to speed up our ability to acquire more companies. And that's all it is. Do we need those funds? No. Could we use them to buy more companies quicker and allow more people to benefit from it as far as 16 to 20% interest on those loans? Yeah, absolutely. And that's really why we're doing this, right? It's not oh, we don't have any other option. Of course we do, right? We can just wait until we make enough profit to buy the next one,
Yeah.
or we can go to investors, family offices, and we do all of it, right? This is
Right.
just an addition to everything else that we're doing.
Okay, so then for those that are not familiar with it, can you tell us what a knowledge-based company is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we kind of created that term ourselves just to
Yeah.
slap a label on um, what we're doing. And what we consider knowledge-based is there's this whole world out there, and you may or may not be familiar with it. There's the online education is a very, very big industry. It was before COVID. It's even bigger after COVID, because during COVID, a lot of people were looking for different means, different ways to make money, right? They lost their jobs, they couldn't, whatever the reason was. And this whole industry of online education, whether that is for personal development, right? How do I improve my marriage? How do I be happier and not depressed? How, right?
How do I start a
Any of
business?
those things. Very, very, yeah, very, very big industry. And then there's what we call the biz op, where people teach other people how to do an online business. And that can go from how to set up a Shopify store, how to get into real estate, how to become a wholesaler, how to start a funnel building company, how to become an online copywriter, right? And that it's a huge business, and it's only going to grow, right? Because more and more people are learning about this, and you have, you know, people, which is interesting. My wife is actually in that industry as well. She sells products, right? Programs. And she's sometimes a little discouraged by the fact that teachers and nurses and firefighters are quitting their jobs and doing these courses to start an online business.
Right.
But we can't blame them, right? They're
Lucrative.
making $40,000-$50,000 a year working their
Mhm.
butts off. And then here they see, oh, I can work 20 hours a week and make 10,000 a month,
Yeah.
right? And it's real. It's not these a lot. There's a lot of scams, don't get me wrong. And
Yeah.
that's also why we're doing what we're doing in a way. But these opportunities are real. Like I've lived in that world for 12 years now, right?
Right.
It's insane. And maybe if I use like these TikTok influencers as an example, right? You have these kids making millions of dollars doing funny videos on TikTok. That's the
Mhm.
space that we're talking about, right?
Right.
That's not online education, don't get me wrong, but I just want to kind of draw that line to that whole online world that
Mhm.
exists. And there's so much money flowing around through it. It's incredible.
Right.
Too much,
So
actually, if you ask me. Yeah.
so now, so you just mentioned a lot of different companies in this space. So the companies that you're interested in purchasing, are you looking at specific ones or are you looking at variations in this space?
No, we're mainly focusing on biz opportunity
Okay.
products, right? Like I said, how to start a Shopify store, how to, because we also, I mean, we're not just doing this for the money, right? We're doing this because of two things. One is quality control, right? As I mentioned before, there's a lot of quote unquote scams out there, people charging $10,000 for a video course,
Mhm.
and it's not worth it, right? They did a course over the weekend, called themselves coaches now, and now they think they can charge people $10,000, right? For and through online marketing, it's actually pretty easy to find people to pay for that, right? So
Mhm.
we want to control that a little bit by creating this EQK quality standard where people over time will know that, oh, this is an EQK endorsed or owned product. We know it's higher quality. So that's
Mhm.
really, if you ask me personally, number one
Yeah.
reason I want to do this is because of that, right?
Right.
And then
Right.
second of all, it's super rewarding to know that more people get to know this industry, this space, and can improve their lives and make more money and get out of the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, right? Working their butts off 12, 14 hours a day,
Right.
and get at least exposed to these business opportunities. So
Right.
the more of that I can create and the more of that I can bring to the market, the more satisfying that will be for me. And that's
Right.
just personal,
Okay.
right?
Great. So a lot of the people that are on this call are already going to be accredited investors, right? So they're probably in a little bit of a different income bracket than people just breaking into the biz op world.
Mhm.
But what are some of the qualities of these companies that you're looking for?
The one we acquire.
Yeah, so the ones that you're interested in purchasing, like what are
Yeah.
some of the key things that you're or the key markers that you would say looking at these particular companies that you would say, all right, this is a valuable company that I would like to bring into our portfolio. What are
Mhm.
some of
Yeah.
what are some of those details?
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy to answer because it's the same as what we do in our larger portfolio, just as a private equity firm. We surprisingly enough, our first criteria is the person who built the company and the
Hmm.
personality and the drive behind why that company was created. Because even when we buy a company, we attach ourselves to somebody
Yeah.
that that built that company. And even though it's 100% acquisition, we still have to deal with that person,
Right.
right?
Right.
And if we don't feel good and it doesn't feel right to create that partnership with that person, short
Mhm.
term, long term, whatever the deal is, we won't do it. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's very profitable. We won't engage in a deal. So we always vet the person first, which is very
Yeah.
different than most of our colleagues, right? They kind of flip it around. Then the second criteria is what is the impact of the product or the service that that company brings to the marketplace. And if it's not positive, we won't engage with it. I don't want to buy a company that makes plastic widgets that are going to end up in the ocean. Like I have no desire. We have too many of those already. And again, doesn't matter how profitable it is, we don't do that. That's just not our thing. We have a choice,
Right.
and we care about the positive impact it has on the environment, on the clients, the people that are gonna buy these products, right? And it's the same for the knowledge industry. If we don't like the course, or if it's teaching something that doesn't align with our values, then we're just not going to buy it, right? I don't want to put my name on that.
Right.
So that's the second criteria. And then of course the third one is profitability
Yeah.
and ability to grow the company. Because again, money is energy, and the more money we have, the bigger we can grow, the larger impact we can make, right?
That's actually an interesting point. When you're looking at the growth pattern of the companies that you're purchasing, what is your criteria around that? Are you making projections yourself of how far they're going to grow? What kind of
Of
projections
course.
are you making?
Yeah.
How do you determine?
Oh yeah, we always do pro formas and projections of the potential growth of the company.
Yeah.
Then we also look at synergies with the rest of the portfolio, right?
Right.
When we bring in, especially in this vertical, and I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
I prepared a little slide. When these companies are all the same and they have the same small teams, 2 or 3
Right.
people. Well, the same people, whether they send an email to 10,000 email addresses or they send an email to 10 million email addresses, same work,
Right.
same amount of time to write the email, same
Yeah.
amount of time to set it up in the email system, same amount of time to click the button,
Yeah.
right? So it's very easy to consolidate the overhead for these companies because they're all the same, right?
Right.
They all have a product, they all have a list, and they all have the same staff.
Right.
And I want to show that in a bit here when we
So
get
that's
to it.
interesting. When you acquire these companies, do you keep their staff?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
we not in the role that they play.
Right.
However, we have so many companies, there's always a place, or we have so many um, connections that we find them a place.
Right.
But I
Just
don't want anybody to be hurt by our
no.
activities and now be out of a job, right?
Right, right. Okay. So just as I've been talking to some of the potential investors, and we've got a lot of questions around the security of this, and we already spoke about the convertible notes. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about Toolbox if somebody doesn't understand or know who Toolbox is?
Yeah, Toolbox essentially owns EQK, which is the holding company for this specific vertical, right? But so Toolbox is a lot bigger than just EQK, and we have close to 100 companies in our portfolio right now.
Yeah,
Um, but we like to just talk about EQK here in this conversation just for the ease
right,
of conversation, right? And
right.
I can show you the 4 assets that we have. They have tax returns, they have P&Ls, they're simple businesses, and I can easily show that.
Okay.
If we were to dive into Toolbox, very, very complicated. Like I said, that it's a private equity firm. We have quite a few startups in there. There's a lot of money being invested in venture capital
Yeah.
opportunities. Very, very difficult to
Gotcha.
assess, right?
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I'm not trying to hide that. I just want to make the conversation easier and have
Yeah.
everybody understand. Look, when I get give money and I into this note, it's gonna it's backed by EQK and the assets that are already there.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason I can't pay on time or enough, you get equity in that holding company, right? You
Right.
now convert your note into equity in the holding company, which again is very easy to assess, is very easy to put a value on.
Yeah.
If in for whatever reason that were to happen next year or
Yeah.
2 years from now, when the first notes are due, we'll have a third party evaluator come in, assess the value of the holding company, and
Yeah.
everybody gets their shares, which I don't want that. That's the last thing I want to do is,
Right.
go through that process.
Right. Okay. So then can we talk a little bit about the profitability of these companies? Because some people may not know how profitable these types of businesses are.
Yeah, most of the time they're very, very profitable, very high profit margins, 50
Yeah.
to 75% sometimes. And I showed that last week, right, with
Mhm.
Anthony Morrison. Um, the trend that you could see him going from 30% profit margin to 40 to then almost, what was it, like 85, 90% profit
Yeah.
in 2022. And it makes sense because there is, like I just said, there's no overhead, right? When I promote my video course that is just sitting on a website somewhere,
Yeah.
whether one person buys that or a million people buy it, there's no
Yeah.
extra work. You
Yeah.
just log in, you get your password, or you sign up, you get your password, you log in, you go through the course. Maybe there's a Facebook group where
Yeah.
I, post some stuff, whether that is one person or a million, same amount of work, right?
Yeah.
And then if I promote other people's products, if let's say I'm a coach, I promote you, again, all I do is write a couple emails, send it to my list, they sign up for your program, you give
Yeah.
me a commission. Again, no overhead. There's no rent, no inventory, no nothing.
Yeah.
Advertising is usually the highest cost.
Right. So for some of you that didn't actually join us last week when Gus was going through this, he was showing some of the offers that affiliate marketers were looking for, and some of them, the one that he showed us was $200 for just a click on an email. So there's
Mhm.
the payouts are very high on that affiliate
Yeah,
marketing space.
yeah, yeah.
So
I've actually an example. We did our first promo to the Anthony Morrison list this week,
yeah,
and within basically 2 days, which is, I mean, just the start of the promo. Let me see if I have the thing up here. I think I lost it, but I'll pull it up again when I start sharing my screen. But yeah, we send out one email and we made $20,000,
right.
right? So just sending an email, and we didn't even write the emails. The person offering the product gave us the emails,
Right. Wow.
right?
So that was just an affiliate marketer that says, "Hey, we'll pay you a certain amount if you send this out. Here's the email. Here's everything that
Mhm.
we need. Can you send this out to this email list?" And
Yeah,
bam, you make $20,000 off that just because you have a good vetted list, essentially.
exactly. And we know that
Yeah.
the people on that list are probably interested in that offer,
Right.
right?
So that's a good point. So when you're buying these companies, you've got lots of different companies, and you've showed us in the past. So you've got like the ebook one, you've got the one that's about funnels and stuff. Do you pick and choose which list you're going to direct certain marketing emails to, or do you just
Of course.
blast everyone? No,
No, no, no,
you
of course. No,
direct.
there's a science to email
Gotcha.
marketing. Uh, there's three things that you do, right? You send emails on a regular basis that
Yep.
people expect. It's just value,
Yep.
right? Then there's surveys where we ask questions to
Yep.
get to know them better.
Yep.
And then based on those surveys and the profile, we then know what they're interested in, right? If you
Right.
It's kind of like the Facebook algorithm, right? If you always click on a link for biz op opportunities that I send to the list,
Yep.
then I know that next time I have an offer for a biz opportunity, I'm going to send it to Catherine because she
Right.
clicks on them every time, right?
Right.
So we look at
Yep.
opens, we look at clicks, we look at the activity inside of the list to determine what we send where.
Right.
So
So
yeah,
would you?
there's a whole science. It's not just, oh, blast an email and fingers crossed and see who yeah.
Yeah.
But of course the teams that we've acquired are experts in this, right? They've done it for so long and they continue to do it. Um, it's just for a different company now or a different owner.
So would you say that the email list is the main asset that you're purchasing when you're buying these
Oh, of course.
companies?
Well, both the product and the email list.
The product and okay.
Yep. Let me share because I keep
Yeah.
referring to the thing that I'm gonna share, right? That's gonna answer a lot of questions, I think. So this is actually real without naming the companies, because of course we haven't closed these deals yet, right? And I'll show you some more details of some of these companies after I explain all this. So for example, these are four companies that we have in the pipeline.
Hmm.
So what's happening right now? We have company one, they have 20,000 emails.
Okay.
That's a very valuable asset to us, right? This one
Yeah.
has 300,000. This one has 1 million. This one has 140. Why is that valuable? Because we can just add that to the list that we already have, and then
Hmm.
we can cross promote all the products that we already have, right? So
Right.
for example, this company, they have an offer called Quantum. This company, they have an offer 12 rounds with Mike. Very
Yeah.
exciting about this one, by the way. I'm 12 rounds with Mike. That's Mike Tyson. Like I actually met Mike Tyson and I was
Oh,
part of the
fun.
shoot of this whole um, course that we made for him. Then there's ClickBank Mastery, there's Money Mondays, four companies, right?
Yeah.
But guess what these guys are doing? Company one is promoting 12 rounds with Mike. They're promoting ClickBank Mastery. They're promoting Money Mondays. And they take
Gotcha.
40% of the revenue of these promotions. Same with company two. They already promote ClickBank Mastery. They promote Quantum. They promote Money Mondays. So they're already cross promoting and they're taking 40% of the revenue of all the sales. Well, guess what happens, right?
Right.
And they have the same team. They have a JV partner manager, they have a campaign builder, and they have a social media manager.
Right.
Small teams, all these companies, they're all the same. So let's look what happens when we make this EQK, right? All of
Right.
this disappears
Right.
and all of this becomes one company.
Right.
We have one
Right.
team, we have one company, we have all these emails, and we have all
Hmm.
these offers. And
Yeah.
instead of 40% of the revenue, we now get 100% of the revenue.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the whole devious master plan behind. It's so simple. It's so simple that it almost doesn't make sense, right? But
Right.
when I show it like this, it does make sense, right? Why
Yeah.
are we able to promise these returns? Because because of this consolidation and the fact that we immediately take these companies from 40% revenue on these promotions to 100% revenue of these promotions.
Right.
And it's not that it's new. They're already doing it. That's the whole affiliate marketing industry, right?
Right.
Company one knows company two, knows company three. They all know each other.
Right.
and
So
they know us too, right? Because so that's really in a nutshell what we're doing.
So, what I find interesting, and this is, I'm just going to go on a little sidebar here, is you've got one company that has 1 million emails, and then you've got another one that's only got 20,000. Are you able to um, distinguish which email list is going to be a better email list? Like a million sounds like a ridiculously large number, right? Are those how do you determine that those emails are going to be better than, say, the 20,000 emails? Is there a way to determine?
Well, it's obviously the economy of scale makes it a
Yeah,
better list. It's 1 million people. So
yeah,
if a smaller percentage of that million clicks on the email or the promo, you still have a higher return on that promo,
right,
right? And again,
right. Just a
it's
numbers
not
game.
more work to send it to 20 versus 1 million. It's the same amount of work, right?
Right, right,
So the return, the revenue on that million email list is going to be obviously higher.
right.
Percentage wise, you'll have less people
Yeah,
clicking and less people buying, but the you know the number of people that buy eventually is higher, so you have higher revenue.
right,
And then of course it all depends on what I just showed. Company one created that list based on their offer. So that the 20,000 emails could be a list of people that bought a $10,000 mastermind
right,
versus the million could be people that bought a $97 cheaper product,
right.
a video course, right?
Okay.
So is it likely that we're going to be able to sell high ticket products to that 20,000 email
Yeah,
list? Of course, higher than the likelihood is higher than the million
right,
email list, right?
right.
So you based on how that email list was created
Yeah.
and what they opted in for, you're going to know what the profile of that member is, that user is.
Gotcha. We just had a question from Rose. She said, how do you know all the emails aren't repeated in each list? How do you know you're not immediately added to spam? I would put you in spam immediately. Oh,
Yeah.
Rose.
That's
That's a
not
good.
nice. We're just trying to help. No, I get it,
Yeah.
Rose. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
And of course there are people that are on multiple lists because they, again,
Hmm.
when you're in that industry and you're interested in BizOp, you're going to sign up for a lot of things,
Hmm.
right? And um, putting somebody in spam after you signed up for something doesn't really work. That it works. I mean, you're gonna mark it as spam, but it's not gonna hurt the email
Yeah.
because we the email service provider knows that you actually signed up for that. You gave the email address, right? So as much you could, of course, you can do that, and a lot of people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people unsubscribe, right? When I typically, and I showed those numbers last week too with free ebooks. Every time we send an email, we have about 0.01 unsubscribes, right?
Hmm.
Which is
Which is really low.
100, 200, five, even 500 people. We
Yeah.
get 1,000 new email addresses every single day,
Right.
right? We have 1,000 new members subscribing to that list. So yeah, of course, that is a fair assessment, and I don't blame you for moving things to spam. If you
Yeah.
if you find it spammy, then yeah, do go do that. Um, but it from a business perspective, and I want to share that with you, right? If you're seeing this as, hey, this is a risk for the company, it really isn't, because it only affects your deliverability if you're actually really spamming people. And I send you something that was unsolicited, and I just got your email from somewhere, and I can't show that you actually subscribed to my list, right?
Right.
So again, that has nothing to do with the moral side of things, right?
Yeah.
This is more from a business continuity perspective that I'm sharing this, right? It
Right.
doesn't do anything. It's not a risk.
Right. And the companies themselves, you're already grouping them with like products, right? So it's not like I'd like to sign up for a business course and now I'm getting spammed with an email about buying new slippers or something, right?
Yeah.
They're
No.
much, right? So there's much
Yeah.
more synergy with the emails.
Yeah. And honestly, I personally, I would do the same thing if that were to happen. If I
Hmm.
signed up for a course and then all of a sudden I get an email trying to promote some casino offer, or I would unsubscribe faster than I can read the email. It's the
Right.
same thing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but this is our business, so we're going to make sure that we use ethical
Mhm.
practices, and also don't FTC is also watching over all of this.
Hmm.
We have we have very strict rules to follow, and if we don't, they shut us down. We can't
Yeah.
just go. Yeah.
Right. So we've got another question. This is from Joe. Looking at your existing owned companies, have you seen a growth in sales in all four companies?
Well, yes and no. Growth in revenue, right? If that's
Yeah.
what the question is,
Yeah.
because of that 40% to 100%, right? We can't grow as in, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to send a promo every day versus a promo every week
Right.
or every 2 weeks, because
Right.
there is a chance that you're gonna burn. We call it, we have this saying, you burn the list, right?
Yeah.
Just like Rose was saying, we don't want to, annoy people with emails that they didn't ask for.
Right.
And we 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 really want to deliver value and not bug people with promos every day. So from that perspective, not growth as in more, but growth as in a higher percentage of the revenue that we keep. Yes.
Right. Okay. So the higher revenue,
So if you
um,
if you're looking at a percentage, it's from 40, not the entire revenue comes from promos, right? So let's say half of the revenue came from cross promotion.
mhm,
That 50% of revenue is now 60% higher.
right. Okay. Um, he said, what is the percentage growth over a certain time period? So you said just now, would you be able to show three of your companies because you have, sorry, would you probably be able to show three of your companies because you have owned them longer? Not really sure what the showed part means, but if
Yeah.
you're talking about the growth of the companies. And then Rose also asked another question saying, how do businesses sign up to get their ads added to your email circulation?
Oh, for us to choose promotions.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do this, we call this reciprocation, right?
Okay.
So and that is actually also a thing that is super important to know about our roll up and having the largest list in the industry already.
Yeah.
Because here's what's happening. We are now the the biggest email marketer in the space already, right?
Wow.
We have more emails than Tony Robbins. Um,
Really?
Now, Catherine, yeah, now Catherine comes to us and says, "Hey, Gus, can you promote my product?"
Yeah.
First, I'm going to look at, is that a good fit for our list? Yes, it is. Okay. Well, Catherine, what can you do for me?
Right.
Oh, I have 20,000 emails on my list. Okay. Well, let's do a promo with one of our products and see
Yeah.
what happens. So
Right.
let's say Catherine does a promo and we generate $100,000 off of that promo. We do.
Yeah.
Now we know that we do a recip where we're going to give Catherine probably 150 to $200,000.
Mm.
We want to make sure that that's in line. Why are these recips important? Because as you were saying earlier, Rose, people unsubscribe, right? People
Yeah.
think it's spam. And every time we do a promo, we lose emails. So
Right.
if I do a recip with Catherine, then I gain emails because she just promoted my product. I now have new emails that
Yeah.
I can cross promote to, and my list stays the same. And it's only fair that we do a reciprocation of revenue, right? I can blow up Catherine's product and get her 5,000 new members and make her $1 million,
Yeah.
but she only promote me up to $100,000. So
Right.
there's an unwritten rule that we keep those in line.
Right. Okay. Um, and then, okay, so I'm just going to reread her question. How do businesses get signed up with ads added to your email injection? To get their businesses advertised through your list, like book ads you were talking about earlier. So yeah, so if I have a book company, let's do it in the book company space. You only have the one book company, correct? In EQK, right?
Free
So
ebooks, yeah.
yeah, so for the free ebook. So let's say free ebooks. Now, granted, you own this now, right? But let's say free ebooks was on their own and not part of it. And they came to you and said, "We really want to, promote our ebooks through your company." How would that look like? Would you be choosing
Same thing.
emails? Same
Same
thing,
thing,
exactly the
right?
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. We would ask for a promo first and then reciprocate whatever that company would do.
Interesting. And
Now
that's
with
because
free
you have,
ebooks, it's a little bit different. Yeah,
yeah.
we're testing something with what we call book funnels, where
Okay.
people get a book. We send out a featured book, but
Yeah.
then that book leads to a training from the author, and then on that training, the author makes an offer.
Right. Right.
And that's a lot less intrusive than, hey, why don't you watch this webinar and learn how to set up a Shopify store
Right.
out of the
Right.
blue versus, hey,
Mhm.
Catherine, here's a book that we featured. It's usually $10 on Amazon, but we're going to give it to you for free. And it's
Yeah.
about online, retail stores.
Okay.
So by you clicking on that email and
Yeah.
downloading that book for free, we know that you're somewhat interested in
That
that
subject.
topic,
Yeah.
right? And then presenting that client with a training from the author, that is not intrusive. That's more value,
Right.
right? And then in return for us giving you that, we're just going to ask you to consider maybe signing up for this program.
Right. Um, kind of deviating from where we're at right at this moment in the conversation. I wanted to bring up the company that you worked with Garrett White,
Mhm.
because there's the affiliate marketing space where you're doing like email cross promotions and all of that kind of stuff or whatever. But your expertise is also in product development as well, right? And so I wasn't sure if, there's probably not going to be that many people knowing that kind of information prior to coming to this. So could you tell us a little bit about your experience and what happened with Garrett White and how that became a success?
Yeah, that was really my first step into the coaching space, online education space, where I was hired as a consultant to revamp the offer to the clients and grow the company significantly. So they had 300 clients. They wanted to hit 5,000 clients by the end of the year. So I redesigned the offer, redesigned how we packaged it and delivered it. And we made an ascension rather than just offering a $10,000 product. And we grew that company to 6,000 members and roughly 60 million in revenue within 1 year.
Right. So you went from
Um,
3 million to 60 million in 1 year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
And
yeah.
that company is, from my perspective, and you might think different, but it's very specific. It was specifically towards a male coaching program, right? So
Oh
this
yeah, yeah.
isn't
That was very specific target audience. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it wasn't
And I
like,
guess you're asking that question because of showing people that I know this space and that I have confidence that I can grow these companies as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
get it.
So just to give a
Because that
little bit,
we don't own that company. That's, you know, that's not one
no,
of our portfolio
no,
companies.
no, no.
Yeah.
But just to show, like, as far as product development, right? So when you're looking at
Mhm.
and assessing these companies, I mean, obviously there's the financials that you're looking at, but you're also looking at it from a product perspective, right? Of
Of course.
where you can take it, how you can grow it,
Mhm.
and what are some of the value adds in these companies that the companies themselves may not even necessarily see or know. Correct?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually in this case, it's around positioning and packaging, right?
Right.
So a lot of these companies that we're looking at are doing well, but their their approach is a little off, I would say, right? We're trying to sell people from an ad onto a call and then selling them a $10,000 product. Well, what if you offer something for 97 first, and then you
Right.
get more people closer to you, they get to know you, and then you upsell them later, right? For sometimes it's flipped upside down. It doesn't, I'm just giving it as an example, but usually that's where the growth lies,
Yeah.
is the positioning, and then also the packaging of what you're offering. And
Yeah.
then also a lot of coaches and educators forget the value of community. So it's important to build a community around your services, because people often value the community more than the actual content.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a lot that can be done to optimize these. Yeah. Now I have to tell you though, I when I assess these companies, I never take that into account. I just look at what do we have to do to maintain the same profit and grow it steadily, just like it has. And of course, in the back of my mind, I'm already thinking, oh, I can improve this, and this to
Right.
significantly grow the company. But that's blue sky thinking, right? When I assess an acquisition, I just look at 3 years of P&Ls, I see steady growth, and I just continue drawing that line for the next 3 years. And then I know if I don't change anything, the company is going to keep growing the same way, right?
Right.
That it's important to know for our, you know, potential investors, that I don't bank on, oh, I'm going to turn this $3 million company into a $60 million company. Um, I may, but I'm not doing that in my assessment whether that is a good company to buy.
Okay, good to know. Sorry, we have a
Yeah.
few questions, a few more questions in here, so I'm going to jump over to those. We've got from Peter, if if I invest from an IRA, does it result in UBIT/UDFI tax? If an IRA investment uses leverage like loans, then results in UBIT/UDFI tax on profit.
Yeah, it's ordinary income. So like the interest that you make, that's the trade-off for monthly payments, right? If you were to keep the interest or the investment for a year, then you it could be considered capital gain. But the trade-off of this particular offer, where, you know, people are looking for monthly payments, which
Mhm.
is what we're offering,
Yeah,
then of course there's negative tax consequences, because you can't um, put that in the capital gains bucket. So that there's a trade-off, yes, of course.
right.
Yep.
Okay. And then Rose asked a question. How are you sure the email provider isn't putting you in a spam folder? My email company just put one of my friends in spam because they thought it was spam. That person was in my contacts. They sent it to a lot of people. So I
Yeah,
guess
I mean
she's,
that's a long answer. Very technical. It has to do with different settings in your DNS and domains, and also it depends on how you send emails, right? If I were to send 3,000 emails from my Gmail account,
yeah,
bad idea, right? That
yeah,
I'm going to get shut down really quickly. If you use a platform like Entreport
mhm,
or Aweber or one of those
yeah,
email service providers, then they make sure that they rotate IPs. They have they watch blacklisted IP address. That it's a very technical explanation, but there's a lot of ways to manage that. And again, the people we have on our team are experts in deliverability and making sure that we don't get blacklisted.
Right.
But again, it's a science. It really is. And there's a lot of settings and things you have to do on the back end on your domain, IP addresses, and then also choosing the right platform to send these emails, right? For
Right.
free ebooks, we have our own proprietary system built on AWS, which is the Amazon servers.
Mhm.
And then for Anthony Morrison, we use Ontoport. Because we have such a large list, we get VIP treatment,
Right.
and we get the best IP addresses. They monitor the responses and the spam notifications. They swap the IPs for us. There's a lot involved.
Gotcha. Okay. Joe also has a question. He says, your guess on how soon before your next several purchases?
Oh,
So
it
how
all
long do you
depends
think?
on, yeah, it depends on how quickly we raise funds, right?
Right.
I
Right.
have the four that I can, if we have time, I'd love to show a little bit more, but if
Sure.
not, we can do it next week. I think these are really good questions, so I'll just
Yeah.
keep answering them.
Okay.
Um, the no, as soon we still have a little bit to pay off on Anthony Morrison in the
Yep.
next couple months. So the
Yep.
funds that we're raising today are going towards that. Um, and then after that, we have Celepco lined up, ready to
Yep.
go. Then we have a couple more that were a couple smaller ones, and then one big one that is completely vetted, ready to go as soon as we raise the capital. So yeah,
Yep.
it all depends how fast we raise the funds necessary to close these deals.
Gotcha. Okay. And then Rose has a question. You put your emails into categories, books, sports, travel, clothes, etc., then send promos to the emails in that category?
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Okay.
how it's managed. Yeah.
Okay. And then Peter says, what are typical durations for promissory notes? The EQK says short-term length of time.
Yeah, we have 2 and 3 year notes. So you can choose a 2 year note or a 3 year note. And then depending on the length that you choose, the longer, obviously, the higher the percentage rate is, right? So 2
Right.
years under 250, from 50 to 250. If you choose a 2 year note, we'll give you 16%. If you choose a 3 year note, then you get 18%. Above 250, you get 18 for a 2 year note and 20 for a 3 year note. So
Right.
those are the two options we have.
Gotcha. Okay. And then does EQK purchase companies using only the money from investors, or do you use leverage, bank loans to pay for the portion of the purchased company?
Yeah, great question. We usually use well, there's 6 layers to that. One, the first three are when we do the deal, right? When we do a deal, let's say the seller wants $10 million.
Yeah.
We're going to structure the deal that where there's a cash portion of it, let's say 5 million in cash. Then we do 2 million in seller notes, meaning the seller gives us a loan for 2 million and we pay it off over time. And
Okay.
then 3, we do a stock swap, which is very popular with the companies that we're buying, because they understand what we're doing, they see the value in it, and they want shares of our company, of EQK or Toolbox.
Right.
So a $10 million deal may only need 5 million in cash,
Ah,
right? The other 5 is a note for the seller
yeah.
and 3 million in stock swap, which doesn't cost us anything, only
Right.
when we ever sell the company or that person wants to be bought out. So now a $10 million deal only requires 5 million in cash. Now
Yeah.
the 5 million, we do split up in 3 categories too. We have our own cash because
Yeah.
we're generating cash.
Yeah.
We have the promissory notes, and then we have what we call third-party lenders, SBA, bank loans, family offices, right? People that have different requirements, usually cheaper. We don't pay them 16 to 20%. That's
Right.
only for the portion. So as you can tell, and again, it all depends on the financials, right? For Anthony Morrison with an 80 to 90% profit margin, of course, I can use a lot more note money.
Right.
If for the next one, that I have the P&Ls for, where the profit margin is more like 40, 50%, I'm going to use less note money because the notes are the most expensive piece of the puzzle,
Right.
right? I'd rather use my own funds that doesn't net, technically it does, but it doesn't carry any interest,
Yeah.
and some bank money that I can get at 10, 12%
Right.
amortized. Now that 10, 12% over, a longer period of time costs me more because it's not the straight, simple 10% interest, right? A 10% loan from the bank
Yeah.
costs me more than a 16% note, um, because it's amortized.
Ah,
Right. So we always make a combination of those six buckets, so to speak, right? The three, when we make the deal, that in my example here can take a $10 million acquisition, reduce it to a cash layout of 5 million.
yeah.
And then that 5 million I can split up based on what I expect the profit margin to be.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I have a lot of flexibility in this, the stress that I put on the asset to pay off the notes.
Right. And then just as a simple question, although it's probably not simple, if one company is doing, say, poorly and you put certain amount of notes, would another company support that other company? Like you do it all as a whole in
Yeah,
EQK,
of
but
course.
you look at it individually in different
Of
spaces.
course.
Gotcha.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So then we've got Shalene's asking a question. If I invest, do I start paying 16% to investors immediately, or is it only once that you've acquired the company? Oh, I see. She's saying,
Oh no. Yeah,
will
yeah,
she
we pay
receive?
out immediate. Yeah, we pay out immediately. Yes.
Mhm.
That is that's why I have 4 assets already lined up, right?
Right,
So I need to stay ahead of the curve with, as the money comes in, I need to have these acquisitions ready to go. Because it's a good question, right? Imagine if I raise 5 million and it just sits there and I don't do anything with it, where am I going to find the profits to
right,
pay off those notes, right? Of course, I have that covered in the worst case scenario by 4 assets that are already producing that
yeah,
I don't have notes on. That's
yeah,
just purely our cash, right?
yeah,
So I have a backup plan, but yeah, we do pay out right away, and because of that, we are um, very, very careful with how much we raise versus the assets that we have lined up. So
right,
our M&A team gets pushed by me harder and harder when we raise more money, right?
right,
Because we have to have more deals lined up that we can close on as we raise the funds.
right, right.
Yep.
So if somebody were to invest today, so if I invested $100,000 today, and today being March 14th, I would expect to get my first interest payment on April
April
1st.
1st.
And that
Mm-hmm.
would be prorated on this first month. And then after that, it would be
Mm-hmm.
just based on my annual amount, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, again, I had something prepared that is relevant
perfect.
to share now.
Oh, we only have
Let
4 minutes left, so definitely
yeah,
share.
that's why. So actually, I want to share it because I'm super excited to share this. Um, is this the right one? Right screen. Yeah, you can see this. Of course, I hid the names, but this is super exciting to me, right? We raised 1.4 million.
Right.
We owe Anthony 3 million.
Okay.
So to completely close the deal, we made the down payment. We still
Yep.
owe him 3 million. Well, I already paid him 1.4,
Yep.
1.5 million more, and the deal is done. So
Right.
these funds that we raised through this campaign, these are all people that like yourself on the call here that
Yep.
decided to invest in these notes. But look at this. So here's my payment calendar, right? In
Yeah.
April, I owe $19,000 in interest.
Okay.
And, but I want to show you, this is what I was referring to, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did $12,500 in 2 days. Let me show you the spreadsheet. Oh, even more, right? We did, we already did. This is a live from Bot Builders, a promo that we did 2 days, started 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We did $35,000 in sales.
Right.
So am I comfortable that I'm going to be able to pay 19,000 in interest payments?
Yeah.
That's just from 2 days from Anthony Morrison's list. So
Right.
yes, of course I am, right?
Right.
Let this be double, right? Because we need to raise another 1.5 to close the deal. So let's say
Yeah.
we owe 50,000.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to this here. One promo, March 12th and March 13th
Yeah.
to the Anthony list yielded $35,000 in sales.
Right.
Now, we didn't collect it, right? Because people chose payment plans, but over time, we're going to collect 35,000. But
Right.
that's just 2 days. That's one email going out to a quarter of the list. So
Right.
there's 3 more emails going out to that same list. There's people that registered for we have the numbers here, right?
Yeah.
2,900 people clicked, 693 registered, 305 attended, and then 5 people bought. But they know, and this company obviously knows this too, over time, you get more sales from those 305 attendees because they
Right.
keep getting emails. Hey, what's wrong? You didn't buy. What can we do? Blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
There's a marketing method to this where we convert more people over time. Because you can tell this was sent to me March 13th, right? That's
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah.
But if you look at the spreadsheet, there's already, you know,
Some more in
a
there.
lot more sales than what they meant. We have 14 sales versus the 5 that we had yesterday,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I know today we're going to have more, and tomorrow throughout the next week, because it's a week-long campaign, those
Yeah.
sales are going to go up. That's one promo to the list.
Right. And that's just through email marketing. That's not even social media marketing or anything
Oh no,
else.
that's just us grabbing the email copy and the
Yeah.
pages from this person,
Yeah.
Matt Lights. He
Yeah.
sells a product that teaches you how to leverage chat GPT in your business.
Yeah.
We don't do anything.
Yeah.
We don't do anything on the delivery side.
Right.
We just
Right.
promoted it to the list, and those numbers are our commission on that promo.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
Thank you for
yeah,
sharing
I
that.
already
That's
have
super.
the money to pay all the note holders, right?
Oh, sorry, we have two more questions. I know we're running over. How long of a
That's
track
okay.
record for purchasing sets of synergistic companies like the four you currently have lined up? So how many
Well,
companies are in your pipeline?
in the pipeline, about 17 now.
Okay.
We keep getting new ones that to look at. But I would say the 4 that I mentioned that I showed on my slide there with the actual products, those are done. Those are ready to go. I can purchase them today if I had the funds.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but there's a total of 17.
Okay. And then Shalene asked, so I want to clarify about taxes. If I invest inside a self-directed IRA, can the interest payments accumulate inside the IRA tax-free, allowing me to take distributions at my own discretion? Or is it immediately taxable as regular income? I was planning to still work for income and let the payments build my retirement IRA up over the next 3 to 5 years. Is my thinking wrong?
It's not wrong, but I would suggest and highly recommend to speak with your custodian,
Mhm.
whoever is managing that IRA, and a CPA to get the real answers. I'm not an expert in that. I mean, I have my opinions and I have ways, my own ways to manage all of this, but I don't want to give the wrong impression or the wrong answers to that. We do have, I just had somebody investing through their IRA. They have
Okay.
a self-directed IRA. The IRA's wiring the funds tomorrow. They signed the paperwork as the investor. Um, so it really depends on how it's set up. There's all kinds of different setups and all kinds of different ways to avoid, defer taxes. So it it's a question that you should ask your custodian
Okay.
and most likely a good CPA who can help you with that.
Right. And just on that note, if people are looking at self-directed IRAs, they're going to have to talk to their custodian to make sure that it actually is a self-directed where you can actually manage the funds and redirect them yourselves as well, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
if we can get ourselves on a list, you, Gus, are willing to sign the paperwork in order to do that, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So technically, we are 3 minutes over. We stole some extra time
Okay.
from people today. I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone else has any more questions. Oh, I had one, Rose. Maybe you should increase the interest paid to investors because of inflation and tax implications. I think it's already pretty high, but nice
Yeah.
try. Good.
Right. You know, it's funny though, because we actually contemplated higher interests, but you know what it is? It's already so high that some people think it's unbelievable and
It's true.
they don't trust it because the interest is too high. And
Yeah.
we've actually done some research on that and we've tested some things. I had a different note offer where we promised 50% return in a year. And as soon as we lowered it to 30, we had more people taking us up on it. So
And just to clarify, that's not this note. That was a previous one.
uh-uh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
So it's not always better to offer higher because I understand that this is a very this is all around trust. You guys, everybody on the call or watching this later, I know that you have to trust me and the company that we're not going to steal your money, we're going to make money and we're going to pay you back. I get that. I I would have the same questions. I would have the same reservations. Oh, I'm going to wire money and then never hear from these guys.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do, nothing I can say, or nothing that I can show you that is going to take away those feelings and those thoughts because I would have the same thoughts, right?
Mhm.
I totally understand it. I all I can do is tell you what we're doing, give you details about what we're doing, showing you everything,
Yeah.
showing as much as I can. I can't show you names, right,
Yeah.
of the people that I've invested. But I want to be fully transparent and also, yeah, this is what I do for a living. This is I went through 10 years of trying to become a citizen of this country because I wanted to be a business owner, because I
Yeah.
wanted to build businesses, because I wanted to build opportunities for people in their business, but also people like yourself to make a good return on your own funds.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. I can say that, right? And I can show numbers and money and things we've done in the past, and that's it. That's all I can do. And then ultimately it's up to you to believe that, trust it, and then jump and come along for the ride. That's it.
So
That's
are
where it
you
ends.
are you building a list from what people have signed up today, right? To learn more about EQK. If you
Mhm.
have any of those other offers that offer 50% later on down the road, will we get emails on it?
No, I'm not doing that again.
No. Okay.
That was a friends and family offer, which
Okay.
it did
Just
amazingly well. And
yeah.
everybody who jumped into that is making a lot of money. But
Yeah.
no, I don't. And it's not something we advertised. Like I said, it was a friends
Yeah.
and family offer.
Gotcha.
No, no, that's
I'm
It
sure
was
everyone had that thought in
highly,
their mind.
highly volatile, very big risk, but
Yeah,
we had quite a few people jumping in, and we all did really well.
nice, nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we should probably end it here.
Yeah,
As we've already stalled now um, 7 extra minutes. We will be doing another webinar again next week. You'll be getting
gladly.
an email. Yep. So we do it every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you're more than welcome to join. We'll also be sending out a recording of this on the weekend. You'll probably receive it on Sunday through email. And you're more than welcome to join us every week. So come on back. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will try to get you all those answers. If I don't know the answers, I will get those answers from Gus. And if anyone's interested in investing, just let us know.
Thank you much. Thank you, Catherine.
All right. Thank you so much, Gus. We
Bye bye.
appreciate it.
Bye bye.